I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans. And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field. Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag-grown technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What's up? Sorry, I was taking a big chug of water there. It is the 7th of September, 2025. Varsity football program up at Iowa State University is 3-0. Keep moving on up. 14th ranked varsity football program in the entire country. And it's all happening up there in Ames, Iowa. We are presented by Mechdyne in the Northwest Bank Studios. Our friends at Northwest Bank have a really cool thing going on for this week, and I'll tell you about it here, because they're partnering. Blum, you had something to do with this, with a gentleman by the name of Rocco Beck.
Got his hat on today.
You do. I actually saw Jake Waters wears that in the press box. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, it's kind of good. This is my good luck hat because
I need that hat.
I've worn it for 2 years now, and it's been a good couple 2 years.
So right now, if you open a checking account at Northwest Bank, any of the Northwest Bank locations, get $100 bonus. And then they're going to throw in the combined score of the Iowa State-Arkansas State game up to the bonus amount.
And Arkansas State's defense just gave up a 50 spot.
Yeah, I'm thinking this could be an extra $100.
That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot. What's
Maybe
the over-under?
60.
Over-under is probably what, 55, 50, 55?
The number was not on this game the last I checked. Oh, it is now. 55.5. Well done. That's a win.
Is that a win?
Get to guess the point spreads later.
Thank you. Early one. What is the actual point spread? This we don't count the Iowa State game. It's 20-something?
It opened at 20.5. It's the sharp money is on Iowa State right now. For the early money it is. I don't know if it's sharp or not. But
I bet it settles around 21.
It's at 21 right now.
Yeah, I don't see it moving a whole lot.
Welcome to the program. We are presented
you,
as always by Mechdyne and the Mechdyne Corporation. Gentleman tweeted at us this week that he just applied for a job at Mechdyne. I thought that was cool. Appreciate that. MECHDYNE.com. All right. Iowa State beats Iowa 16-13 in the most Cyhawk of all Cyhawk games. I'll put it like this, though, Blum. With 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, I did not think Iowa State was winning that game.
Yeah, it was just one of those games where we've seen that happen. We've seen that movie before.
It just didn't feel like the recipe for Iowa State to win the way that was going.
What always gave me confidence is, I still didn't think Iowa could even get into scoring position, though, regardless.
But then they did that 9-minute drive, and it was like, oh, boy.
They did, and they just kind of grounded it out. And, yeah, it was uncomfortable. That third quarter, the second half was super uncomfortable. Really, it was honestly very uncomfortable for me ever since that muffed punt, because I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And I don't say that disrespectfully to Campbell or anything. It's just, this is what Iowa does. They ugly up the game. They get you on their level.
They've just won so many games
and they've
doing
just
this.
won. You're right. And I was just waiting for a mistake. Thankfully, Gronowski throws the big mistake, and that was the Jeremiah Cooper interception that led to the touchdown for Iowa State. But yeah, second half was super uncomfortable, and it's nice to get a ball or two to bounce Iowa State's way. Matt Campbell with the quote of the weekend, and I believe it was something like, I think 247's Alec Bussey tweeted it, maybe somebody else did too, so I apologize if somebody else did. Of Matt basically said it was nice to get a break with that Gabe Burkle catch, those couple of catches, because it felt like we were playing two teams. And you can take that for what it is. Weird game, strange game, odd game, not a thing of beauty, but dang, it feels good to be 3-0 and beat those guys again.
Yeah, and I mean, big picture.
Yeah, I took more big picture of this game than the actual game, because the game was what it was. Like, just
the big picture thing for me is I always listen to the Cyclone Radio Network. I try to during the game. I want to hang out with Walters and Heft and Hark during the game.
Who does?
At halftime, Matt said to Hark, "We are built for this," I think was his quote.
Yep.
And okay, I don't know exactly what that means, but I do know that I just don't. I mean, Matt's been here 10 years, and the early complaints about Iowa State fans when Matt didn't win this game very often was that you try and do the Iowa thing and you just can't beat them. I mean, and I've said that before. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they tried to do that yesterday, but they were capable of doing it yesterday. They were capable of. I mean, they were physically better than Iowa up front most of the day, I thought. And Iowa's got a really good offensive line, okay? And Iowa State, like, not only went toe-to-toe there, but you got sucked into a game that you really didn't want to be in. And it's okay. Like, you can, like, this is, you're a baseball guy, like a switch hitter, right? Like, where you have some flexibility and you can maneuver around. And that's, this Iowa State team just is very versatile. And that's what I love the most about it.
And I mean, I think if you talk to Iowa State offensively, that was a C- type effort. I mean, Rocco had some missed throws. Obviously, Overby's got to catch a couple of those balls. You ran it okay, though. I think that was a saving grace, honestly. I thought Abu Sam in particular, the numbers maybe not eye-popping for him, but I thought his hard carries that earned several first downs were really impressive.
He got a lot of extra yards, too.
Yeah, and just kind of kept the clock moving. And honestly, the muffed punt was bad, but I thought Tyler Perkins was great. A couple of those punts flipped the field for Iowa State. So just a lot of good things. But I think more than anything, Chris, what you hit on there, I think was the biggest takeaway, not necessarily the X's and O's of yesterday. It was that one team just looked more complete and just more physical and just bigger, honestly. One team looked like a power program. The other one didn't. And Iowa State was the one that looked like the power program to me. I mean, I think just physically across the board, it appeared to me Iowa State just had more dudes. Take that for what it means. And obviously Iowa State made some mistakes as well, but I thought actually a really good article by Travis Hines in the Register. And this was my big takeaway from the game. And here, I'll read it directly from Hines because he put it on Twitter, so I'm not stealing the Register subscription, but please subscribe to our friends there too. He said, for the first time in at least a generation, and perhaps for the first time since this modern rebirth of the series, Iowa State football is ahead of Iowa. Not just on a single scoreboard, but in the general scorekeeping of program health. If both programs were stocks, Iowa State is trading higher than Iowa. The recent and future returns just look rosier in Ames than Iowa City. And I agree. I mean, I think that's the big takeaway here is you've got an Iowa State program that's kind of fun and hip right now. Aiden, you might have to tell me who this is. I kind of have an idea, but Metro Boomin was in the locker room after the game. Do you know who that is, C-Dub?
It was either Aiden or Jacqueline Cordova was telling me about this last. It was you, wasn't it?
It's okay. I thought a lot more people would know who he is, but I've talked to like no one who knows. And I'm not even a big rap guy, but
is he like
he's like
TikTok
a big
guy,
time. No, he is before TikTok.
He's a
huge, big time producer.
Yeah.
All the big ones. He has like 4 million followers on Twitter.
The point is,
Wow.
I don't need to know who he is. Not
It
the
doesn't
point.
matter if we know who he is.
But Ben Bramer looked pretty thrilled, and Marcus Neal looked pretty thrilled that he was in the locker room after the game.
I mean, we're basically like Colorado with Dion.
But between game day, I thought the marketing the whole big picture was Iowa State football is on a stage I don't know if it's ever been at right at this moment, and that was my takeaway from yesterday.
I'm not like a polarizing Barstool guy one way or the other. I don't watch it that much, but I don't like hate them either. I think
Sure.
Portnoy is like a genius marketer, and like love him or hate him, like I don't know how anyone can deny that. That like the PR over the last like 4 days, just out of Ames with those Barstool guys, and I've never watched their pregame show, and we flipped it on at our camper because I'm like, oh, like they're right there,
They're right there, yeah.
we're already up, let's flip it, and it was chaos, like it was so much fun, and they just made fun of Iowa for the first 10 minutes. Now, it did level back out. Portnoy was wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey by the end of it. But it was really like, I know it's because Iowa State won. But any other time game day's been there, you have like a bad taste in your mouth about it in a weird way. But that seemed really cool to me, just because you had that Barstool stage and then you had the Fox stage. Like, that's a really good idea, what Fox is doing with the Barstool thing and like just pairing it up. Like, I would be really surprised if their numbers don't grow because of that. And then you had all those Barstool at the end of it. They end their show and they're throwing people over to Fox to watch it. Again, I've never watched a Barstool pregame show before. I thought that it really came off well for Iowa State.
Yeah, and then the Fox one as well was great. And
I haven't watched a lick of that.
I watched it a little bit last night. I had it on DVR, and I just thought the whole presentation was good, and you didn't have the Eric Church or Ashton Kutcher moments. Like, it was Tyrese, it was Taman, it was Coach Otzelberger were on the stage, and obviously I thought it was very even. It just, to me, CW, it reminded me a lot of, was it 2015, January of 2015, when ESPN Game Day for basketball came to Ames and Iowa State beat Kansas.
Yes.
I know you remember that one. It was like
absolutely.
It was like Iowa State basketball was hip and cool.
Iowa State killed them in that
game.
Didn't they?
They did. Yeah. But that was my impression from yesterday. Is like Iowa State has arrived to a different stage even than it was a year ago with all this stuff. And then when push came to shove, was it a pretty game? Absolutely not. But Iowa State made the plays when it had to, and then can't say enough about Kyle. I mean, Conradi with another missile, and
that kid just deserves so much credit.
And then I thought extra cool for me because I had Kyle, Gabe Burkle, Jim Boniface all went to an outing with us over in Dubuque this summer, and you've been over there with me with our friends at Mississippi River Distilling. The people in Eastern Iowa that have been shunned for so many years of being a Cyclone over there, and it's only growing, by the way, to have Iowa State beat Iowa. And then have all Eastern Iowa guys really change the tune, which was Conradi, Boniface at center as a Dubuque guy, Gabe Burkle from Cedar Rapids. Even a year ago as Darian Porter with that huge interception from Bettendorf. You're now, honestly, I think Iowa State, I know that's going to be the big talker this week, is Iowa State ahead of Iowa? I don't think there's any question. I mean, Iowa hasn't beaten a ranked team that finished in the top 25 in 6 years, and here's Iowa State again, going to be in the top 15. On its way, potentially, got to take care of business against Arkansas State, C-Dub. Iowa State starting 3-0, could be 4-0 for just the second time in 25 years. And guess what? That's been the last 2 years. I mean, Iowa State is doing things that were unfathomable, and to do it then on national TV against your in-state rival in the chaos that is college sports right now
on a Saturday
impressive.
That wasn't stacked either.
Yes, absolutely. The game itself was very methodical and.
It was a dog. It was
like you're not going to get a lot of casual interest from the game itself, and I don't blame Iowa State for that.
No, and that is what it is. Like, guys, we know going into that, we said it all week. Like, I felt like if Iowa State loses that game, what would have pissed me off the most as a fan was not punching it in the end zone in the first quarter when you had those two opportunities, because I felt like Iowa State let them off the hook. The quarterback was Iowa's first quarter play calling was indeed some of the worst that I've ever seen in Jack Trice Stadium, and you all know what we've been through. Okay,
Yep.
We watched Stevie Hicks for 2. Like we've seen it all. The Messingham era. Like their offensive game plan could not have been more predictable and horrible in that first quarter. Now, I actually thought Tim Lester made some nice adjustments throughout that game. They changed their running scheme. Took Iowa State a little bit to catch up to that. Once they did, Cyclones locked back in. But I guess my point was, if Iowa State loses, we can talk about the punt. We can talk about anything. They had an opportunity to put them down double digits early, and for that Iowa offense to go down double digits, man, that would have been a colossal thing to happen in the first quarter. You get the crowd. And so Iowa State had the opportunity, Brent, to make it its kind of game, couldn't capitalize. So you get sucked back into this Iowa thing, and once that anaconda starts to squeeze, it gets pretty tough. But again, in the past, Iowa State hasn't had the physical ability in general. It's not a blanket statement. Iowa State's had good physical teams that have beaten Iowa. Last year's team would be one of them. But last year's game, didn't play out like this one did, where we've just all week long I talked about my fear was that Iowa would go on like an 8-9 minute drive in the third quarter and just and that's exactly what they did.
Yep.
In Iowa State, this is pro wrestling. It was a 2 count. You kicked out, and then you got off the top rope and you went and landed the elbow drop. One of the best coaching moves I've ever covered was Matt Campbell playing for the field goal yesterday. If you're like me, you're watching it, and what are we doing? You're going to settle for a 54-yard field goal? Yeah. It was genius. He knew the opponent, and I don't know who made the call. I'm assuming it was Matt. I'm assuming Taylor Mauser had something to do with this. You love your kicker. He goes from 63 last week. He had a 54-yarder to win against Iowa. The dude can hit in the clutch. And he's actually better from 50 than he is like 40. I wonder if the stats would back that up, but he is.
And he had hit 2 previously that were nails. It wasn't even close in a good
Kid's
way.
on fire right now.
Yeah.
And I just think it comes down to this, Bloom. It's 3rd and 9, right? I think it was 3rd and 9.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of people against a Phil Parker defense that I would love to know the percentages of teams in an obvious passing situation against Iowa, against Phil Parker's Iowa, are successful on 3rd and 9 in an automatic passing situation. It can't be that good of an odd. So what he did is he trusts his quarterback. I guarantee they said, Rocco, we need you to get to an X yard line, go down in the middle of the field. Rocco does exactly that. You trot it out there, and you're thinking, worst case, we miss the kick, and we just have to hold them and play for overtime. But I at the time, I'm thinking like every fan, because you know your blood's boiling and the rivalry. Like, be aggressive, make it easier. Like, don't leave any time on the clock.
Yeah,
he trusted the percentages. He trusted his team, and I just thought it was a really brilliant sequence for Matt. It reminded me of the Texas game in 2020 when he punted with like 3:50 to go or whatever it was, and we all lost our minds. Iowa State gets and then goes down, kicks a field goal, and wins. Connor Asali hits it. So I want to give him some flowers for that, because that would have been a deal too if they lose. Like, everybody kills him, but he made the right call. And the Carnardi kid, when you play the type of football Iowa State does, we talk about margins. They weren't great in the margins yesterday. They had some dumb penalties.
And Overby's got to catch some. I know they were hard catches, but you got to make those catches.
You do. And Carnardi was the equalizer, to be able to just trust that guy to go out there and do it.
Yeah, I no doubt. And then to follow that up then with really pressure on Gronowski with Mechdyne, who was phenomenal yesterday. I thought 58 for Iowa State was a difference maker and was huge. For Iowa State in that situation to kind of dial it up and get to Gronowski twice and basically just say, okay, you're done. Thanks for playing. Go back home now. It was a really fitting way. I thought that defense was really good all day. The one series, you're right, Iowa got some ground game going. Looked like Dom Orange was getting a little winded. I know they had Zamir Hawk in there for some snaps, and Iowa kind of went after him. But by and large, you hold those guys to under 225 yards again. I mean, if I'm Iowa, this is where I come back big picture. That program to me has completely stalled.
Well,
I just don't know. I don't know how you can look at both of these in-state programs and not think that Iowa State has become the program in the state in regards to being the fun one to go play for and want to on an upside standpoint.
I don't think there's any question there. The other problem Iowa has now, and and he's the best coach they've ever had. Okay, he's one of the best in the history of the Big Ten Conference. Yeah. Like I'm not. He's 70.
Oklahoma State's going to have a similar situation.
Yeah,
on their hands.
right. Like you come to a point where it's like you kind of lose the ability to like play chips to get people excited. And it feels like this Lester thing with whatever that was. I mean, this is not like this proven OC that came in, but somehow Lester and that media thing over there,
God,
like
it's insane.
People started to believe that he was this like quarterback but like I actually thought that their quarterback kept him in the game with his legs.
He did at least make a couple plays with his legs.
He could just extend a play, and that was how they got most of their big yardage plays.
That is true.
Like without him. Their route trees suck. Their receivers are terrible. They really don't have that like elite tight end like that they've.
Well, then Ostrenga got, to that point, Ostrenga got hurt in the first series.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You get to that point, and it's just like, what are you scared of, other than the 4 yards per carry, 9-minute drive?
Yeah.
But the problem for them was when Iowa State hits the field goal, you pin them back deep. They're on the 20. And then you're in an obvious passing situation. If Iowa's in an obvious passing situation against John Haycock defense, lights out. And they finally let 58 just go after the quarterback instead of just taking on blockers all day like he had been doing.
Yep.
That was the difference. It's not that McDonough hasn't been able to get to the quarterback in that game. It was he was kind of playing like a tackle type spot where he's taking on 2 guys.
They really, for a while there, and I thought it was smart. They only were rushing like 2 or 3.
Correct.
It was just like, all right.
Well, Dom was taking on 3 dudes there for the first half.
It is like Gronowski cannot beat us, and literally he couldn't. So, but he did make a couple plays with his legs. I just thought, again, not a pretty game, but Iowa State just toughed it out, and that's where I'm looking at both these programs. Like, if you're a high school athlete in the state of Iowa, what one do you want to choose right now? You can one that's actually winning games, has a young coach, has a lot of stuff going on, or do you want to play for Iowa and get 200 yards a game? I mean, and you can't even C-dub anymore. For forever, it was like, well, but yeah, you go to Iowa, you're going to get developed into an NFL player. Over the last couple of years, Iowa State's produced more NFL players than Iowa has. I mean, and you're seeing now, the other thing that really impressed me about yesterday, C-dub, I've been going to that game up in Ames for 40 years. I have never seen fewer Hawkeye fans.
I noted that in my post-game show, too. I don't know if you heard that. I said the same thing. It was staggering.
Number one, it was a great idea for the Cardinals, so shout-out marketing team, because you could really tell based on that. It felt like there were games in the 90s, C-Dub, and you went to a couple of them, I'm sure, where it felt 50-50.
Oh, and
yeah.
Even in the early 2000s,
even the 2000s, it was still 60-40. And then, C-Dub, even, 6 years ago, it was 70-30. But
they would still do that IOWA chant, really take over Trice for the longest time.
It felt like a home game for Iowa in a great way. Like in a kudos to the Iowa State fan base for representing, not selling your tickets to the highest bidder. And then I just, by and large, one program in this state has momentum. The other one is getting buoyed by its media to hopefully them picking that team to win 10 or 11 games is now looks completely asinine from what I saw yesterday. Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, really good up front on offense. I mean, their running backs, in my opinion, are just guys.
That's fine.
No, they had their starter was out, but I don't know if that's their receivers are not very good. And I again, like this quarterback, no doubt to me is an upgrade.
He is an upgrade,
but
it's the same thing. Yeah.
I'm such a believer in scheme. You know this, right? With my Minnesota Vikings, I do not want to pay Sam Darnold $50 million a year when I can have a rookie with that elite scheme. I want really talented people around him. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Adam Thielen's back. Got your tight ends. Give me an elite scheme with a really good offensive line and a smart quarterback who doesn't have a big arm who can move a little bit. Over, if I'm Iowa, I would just play Moneyball. I wouldn't they're not going to develop these guys. Their quarterbacks get worse under this coaching regime. We've seen it for a really long time. I would just instead of paying him $2 million or whatever it is, you're better off paying Hank Brown 250 and is loading up on edge rushers.
Or get a receiver.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, whatever. This isn't about them.
It isn't. But I think it proves, back to Hines' article, I think that's the big impression for me from this weekend is, in my opinion, and yes, I'm biased, I understand that, Iowa State has passed Iowa as the quote-unquote program in the state now. And I think, there was obviously that 5-year period in the late 90s and early 2000s with McCarney where Iowa State won 5 in a row, but you could argue that was, Iowa State at that point in time, CW was still getting only, 37, 40,000 people, and Iowa was still at 72,000. And since that time frame, you saw it yesterday, Iowa State is 61,500. Obviously, there were some Iowa fans there. Iowa's actually reduced the seating in its stadium. And I know, like, we can get into the whole, well, Iowa's in the Big Ten and they have the revenue. Great. They've also had the revenue advantage for the last 25 years, and Iowa State's catching them and maybe past them. So I think it's a belief for Iowa State fans is like, hey, we have done what a lot of people didn't think Iowa State could do, and that is be at Iowa's level or above them as a football program in the state. And I don't think that's hyperbole.
Let's thank some of our great sponsors. One guy I did my Learfield postgame show with, and he was fired up yesterday. Colin Newell had a little extra punch in his step after that one.
As he should. Ames guy. Ames high, ames high.
Farm Bureau Financial Services. Reach out to Colin today. Saves Bloom and I each hundreds of dollars. Maybe even 1,000 after I added it all up. Farm Bureau Financial Services. That's Colin, 1L, Newell, 2 L's at the end. Also, would like to thank my buddy Jeff Kelderman and everybody at Kelderman Manufacturing. Hung out with him a lot this weekend. That was a hell of a time.
It was fun.
Mark Steck, all those great guys over there. They're big supporters of everything we do here on Cyclone Fanatics. So thank them. Also, would like to thank our friends at the Iowa State University Foundation. Go to movewhatmatters.com and we should make a gift. Wonderful performance by the marching band yesterday. That could be an option. They just released a video of me giving tours around Jack Trice Stadium that we recorded last year, so that's really cool. We'll share that with you guys. Hopefully we'll get that put together and have it for a spot here on Cyclone Fanatics. So really appreciate them, and also the Ivy College of Business as well. Bloom knows them very well. Great supporters of ours, and we've been partners with them for a really long time, and specifically their graduate program. A lot of people going back, and you don't even have to step foot on campus to do this. It's really a family-friendly thing. So if you're thinking about it, the Ivy College of Business is elite. They got a new dean, a lot of excitement over in that portion of campus. Okay, so now we kind of turn our direction. I guess I should ask you, do you have anything else from yesterday's game before we... There's not a ton to analyze because it was such a weird, like, gross style of game.
I just think it's one of those where, winning. Yeah, you just get out of there with a win, and that's what Iowa State did, and now momentum builds. And again, 3-0, and looking to go to 4-0 for only the second time in 25 years. And by the way, that's 2 years in a row.
I did see a stat that I thought was interesting. The offensive line, every member of the offensive line played every snap in the game.
Huh.
I wouldn't have guessed that, but I wasn't like looking for subs either. But I was going through Pro Football Focus this morning. Other thing that stood out to me, and I have not had a chance to watch it back yet, unfortunately, but I will. Did you notice that in crunch time, that the transfer wide receivers were on the field a lot?
Yeah. I wonder
if they're telling us something. Soel has 2 catches, like really important ones.
I was glad to see him get involved for sure.
Only 17 yards, but and our guy Xavier Townsend had a tough day on the punt return, and he wasn't great. But again, big picture, they weren't hiding those guys in a big moment. They weren't just relying on Edskelson and Overby. And those two played a lot. Like they each, I mean, Edskelson, I think, played 40 of the 59 snaps. So he's clearly a guy who they are leaning on for run the right route, downfield. Overby had 28 of the 59 snaps. But you go to the rest of them, Townsend was out there for 17, and Soel was out there for 26. So that's got to be the most we've seen from Chase Sowell the whole season.
No doubt. And I think this Saturday is an interesting one because, again, the Arkansas State defense has been poor. Can you get those guys action early and stretch the field? I think Iowa State will be able to move Arkansas State around, but I think this is another confident. And again, you can look at Iowa State and go, oh my gosh, Iowa State only had 238 yards. What's wrong with the offense? C-Dub, 57 plays for Iowa State, which is absurdly low. That's absurdly low. So that's not a great
This
number.
is an anomaly for statistics.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little over 4 yards per play, which isn't good, but at the same time, it was a game where you knew Iowa wasn't going to do anything offensively, so you didn't want to make a big mistake. And the shots Iowa State did take were there. You got to make those though. I am glad that Iowa State came out on top because that would be one of those where you look back and go, man, Iowa State really dominated that game for a good portion of it. So Bill Conley, my guy Bill Conley at ESPN, does the success rate or the win probability based on the box score and advanced factors. And I believe it was a 76% likelihood Iowa State was going to win based on the analytics yesterday. But again, I credit Iowa for doing what they do to make that thing weird and almost pull it off. But Iowa State got it done, and now you hope against Arkansas State that offense can really get into gear because we're seeing it now. Big 12's interesting, man. Like it is wide open. Arizona's better than we thought, and that's not exactly a game that you can just waltz in and just for any of these teams in the Big 12. I think it's pretty obvious now. Weird day for the Big 12 again yesterday, and we're going to get into it here in a little bit, but. I think you look at the rest of this Iowa State season. It's like, man, if Iowa State plays well, there's no reason. There's not a game they can't win. I'll tell you that much.
Probably favored in every game except TCU right now.
I was just going to say that. That's exactly where I was going next. Yep.
We'll do our Wiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment coming up. Well, quickly, let's do touch on this weird Arkansas State game. They're not that good. Is that fair to say?
They're not that good.
I don't think this is like that Ohio team.
I don't.
And this is clearly a different Iowa State team than the one that lost that game. If I had a crystal ball, I think this is if you had a fantasy roster, this feels like a game like West Virginia last year where Iowa State gets its running game going. Like I could see Sama or Hansen having multiple touchdowns in this football game.
Yeah, and they allowed 11 yards per play yesterday against Arkansas. And I know Arkansas is better, I think. But Arkansas State did move the ball. 23 first downs yesterday, which is a bunch. And they were able to actually run it okay at 4 yards per carry. However, they could not stop the run. That's where you were dead on. Arkansas runs for 321 yards on 30 carries. That's literally a chasm in the middle of their defense. And while I just said that I want Iowa State's receivers to get going, the transfers, you're right. This is a Boo and Carson and just run them off the field type of game early and then hopefully mix in some Rocco as well. But you do not want to get into a third quarter and not establish the run. That would not be a great sign.
They ran the ball better against Iowa than I thought they would.
Yeah, and again, I come back. I thought Abu was really good, and I know he's taken some shots here in the last year plus, but I thought Abu ran as hard and physical as he has, and he's only getting better. And I'm looking for a big game out of 24 on Saturday. That's my pick to click.
Okay, yeah, you also watch snap counts too, and like those guys are. A caller on Cyclone Reaction asked me about like this strategy behind the subs, and like this is not a first and second string. This is a 1A, 1B. You could just tell like they're almost getting identical amounts of carries. The offense doesn't change at all depending on who's in the game.
Yeah.
They are going to vulture each other for touchdowns, but that's a good thing. This is a team sport.
Yeah, a couple other notes on Arkansas State, at least one note. Rayner, the quarterback, started last year, led him to a bowl victory, and he played in Ames last year. Very little guy, okay, but very run heavy. So he's one of those guys that can just run around and make plays. Now he'll also make some plays in Iowa State's favor because he throws a lot of interceptions. But it's scary, unlike the South Dakota guy who couldn't move, where this Rayner, the quarterback, is just going to run around like a chicken with his head cut off at times, and you hope he doesn't run into a few big plays that way.
That is a 3 o'clock kick. ESPN. No, is that ESPN Plus? It has to be if it's a 3 o'clock kick.
I don't think it is.
That might be FS1, actually.
Hold on. Give me. Yeah. Is it 3 o'clock Iowa time or 3?
Yeah,
well,
it's a 3 o'clock local kick.
Okay, I got it right here.
Bloom's pulling it up, everybody.
It is on ESPN 2.
ESPN 2.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good. We don't have to worry about the ESPN Plus thing.
Correct. So there's a 3 o'clocker on ESPN 2 in Jonesboro. I believe Iowa State is not staying in Jonesboro, by the way. They're staying an hour up the road in, well, good old Memphis.
Love Memphis, man. Absolutely love Memphis, Tennessee.
By the way, we talked about going to Jonesboro. I'm not going.
I'm not going.
I know. Been a long 3 weeks.
Dude, it's been a long, 6 weeks. I would love to go to Jonesboro.
I would love to as well.
And if anybody's offering to fly us on a private jet, we'll go. But I'm not driving 8 hours and then or flying to Memphis and renting a car. Like, that all sounds just horrible right now.
Yeah, we could maybe Portnoy.
He's
a big Iowa State guy now.
By the way, on that,
yeah,
you should go and buy a Big Citrus T-shirt.
Yes.
As far as people promoting Iowa State, I've been wearing this thing all the time. It's my favorite shirt we've ever done, and people always comment on it. We should have a game that's a blackout where everybody's wearing. We got to pay homage to the big man. Big
man.
Citrus. CycloneFanaticShop.com. Everything's 10% off after a Cyclone win.
Big man's been unbelievable. Was unbelievable again yesterday.
So good.
Again, it's him and Rocco, and then shoot.
31 is sneaking into
I know.
that.
Neil's coming, though.
My God.
Want to keep Neil around. The We Will
30,
Fund.
31
We Will
Neil.
Fund.
He has the potential to be one of the great players in the Campbell era.
He's starting to get big-time attention.
Every game, look at his grades.
Yep.
He's just a dude.
Yep.
It feels different.
Between him and Cummings Coleman, who made a couple big plays as well, man, the athleticism and how about hopefully this gets talked about this week or maybe next week during the bye week. The job that Iowa State's coaching staff did to get Jeremiah Cooper over from a safety to a corner, and it's like he's been there as an All-American. He's playing like an All-American corner right now.
Yeah,
and they moved him
great pick
in
yesterday.
The middle of the fall, which allowed then. The reason I say that, moving Coop over has then allowed Cummings, Coleman, and Neal to be on the field for pretty much every snap. And when he's been in there, Trey Bell's been great too. Had a huge special teams play as well, Trey Bell. So Iowa State, obviously wasn't a thing of beauty yesterday, but you can really tell the depth of the program. Little behind the scenes stuff. There were some high end recruits there yesterday as well, and Lisa say they were impressed as well.
Like to hear that.
We're going to keep this thing rolling, everybody.
More 11 a.m. kicks too.
Yeah,
it was fun to be able to celebrate all night.
We had
a good time watching games. And
yes,
let's do that with our big Wiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment. We do it each and every Sunday, I guess. Many of you listen on Monday, and also on Wednesdays. Plant your independence. Plant Wiffles. Harvest coming up just around the corner. Okay, so what do you want to do, the good or the bad first? Baylor wins on the road at SMU.
Yeah, that was great.
So the day started off really well in that 11 o'clock spot because Iowa State beats a Big Ten team, and then Baylor goes on the road and wins outright at SMU.
For Dave Aranda, we were giving him a grief last week. Got to give him flowers, props, whatever you want to call. It's a big time win for Aranda, and if you look at the odds, they're right back in the conversation.
Season.
Yeah,
if they start off 0-2 like that,
certainly.
And that was great for the league, considering SMU was a playoff team a year ago.
Baylor's going to be one of those teams that's man, they're going to have some flops because the defense isn't great there. But they've got some – you want to talk about Iowa doesn't have any dudes on offense? Baylor's got a lot of dudes, and that popped off the screen again yesterday.
So Iowa State beats Iowa. So, again, you're looking at a great start. And at one point, Kansas is up 21-3 on Missouri.
Yeah.
So this is setting up to be a banner day for the league. Kansas blows it loses 42-31. You have West Virginia losing at Ohio. Whatever. I don't really count that. Like, sounds weird, but West Virginia's picked like dead last in the league. I'm not expecting much from them as a first-year head coach. Mm-hmm. And then you have the league's favorite going into the season. Kansas State loses at home to Army, who lost to Tarleton State in week 1. And the league's defending champion, Arizona State, goes on the road and loses at Mississippi State, who finished dead last in the SEC a year ago. So the momentum, the Big 12 was not able to hang on to the early day momentum.
No, and unfortunately, Arizona State immediately goes from, hey, this team won the league last year, Mississippi State finished dead last, like you just said, C-Dub. That's an easy referendum on the Big 12, and it's not fair. But it's easy.
Yeah, especially in the portal era, because like Mississippi State could be, like Arizona State was picked to be last year, and they won the league.
Correct.
Mississippi State, for all we know, could go 10-2. We have no idea, but like that's the referendum is a perfect word.
Yeah,
and again, this is a perception conversation.
The interesting part here, I think, in my opinion, you're starting to see a pretty decent gap. And I'm not writing Arizona State off yet, by the way.
No.
That was a weird spot.
Dude, go in those time zones to Starkville, Mississippi.
With the cowbells, like the cowbell, I don't want to be a fun hater, but it just seems like the noise, good for them. I just don't understand it.
I like
you like cowbells? I don't know if I don't like the cowbells. But no,
I got a fever.
It's Iowa State, Utah, Tech, to me, have TCU. Impressive early. And, I look at that. Iowa State doesn't play Utah or Texas Tech. And I looked at the odds right now. You want the updated odds to win the Big 12, C-Dub?
Man, I got to think Iowa State may be the favorite.
Well, I would have thought so too, but they're actually third.
Okay, so
This is
Utah?
what surprised me. Utah's, no. Guess who the favorite is now?
Tech.
So Tech's the favorite at 425. Utah is 450. Iowa State at 650. And then Baylor's back up to fourth, interestingly.
Yeah, honestly, that doesn't shock me.
But
Baylor has guys. We knew that they had guys. It was like, can you put it all together? And it didn't look like they did in week 1. I think you're going to have, because of their defensive situation, you're going to be asking the what if question with them every week.
Yeah.
They're more susceptible to get knocked off.
So these actually changed even since the last time I had this. So it's actually shifted. So follow me here. Ready? Utah is now the favorite at 4-1. Tech's 425. Iowa State's 550. Arizona State's at 7. TCU's at 8. Baylor's at 9. So again, those 6 are all kind of in the mix there.
I think Kansas deserves to be in the conversation.
14-1. Now here's I was thinking about today, C-Dub. The fact that Iowa State doesn't play either Utah or Texas Tech this year, there is a world, and I need to look at it, if they play each other. Can we look? Let's see if we can find that real quick, which I'm going to do. But this could lead, in my opinion, Utah, Tech, and Iowa State, I think, have large runways. Utah does host Texas Tech on the first Big 12 game on the 20th. I wonder if you could have several 8-1 teams. And if all those teams are undefeated in the non-conference, if you have 3, hypothetically, 11-1, 8-1 in the Big 12, I think it's possible, by the way, you might get 2 or 3 into the playoff. So just because the league is down, if Tech, Iowa State, and Utah can still take care of business and you're 11-1, 8-1, you're going to be in the top 12.
I don't even know if the league is down, though. That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
I actually, like, they keep losing these games that are – the Arizona State game was the worst one.
Yeah.
Like, that was the worst perception one that could have possibly happened, and then probably Baylor losing at home to Auburn, number 2. But the rest of these games, it's like, I mean, I don't think the Big 12 should really be judged on West Virginia losing at Ohio.
Same.
Right? Like, the Kansas game, it's like they were a touchdown underdog. Like, I didn't really expect it. A lot of these games, like, do you get proper credit for what TCU did, or is it just
Or
Belichick's a
no
disaster?
good.
Right. Like, I actually think the Big 12 is a better league this year, probably. I really do. Like, if that BYU team was your second best team last year or whatever, like, that's not a very power league, in my opinion. Like, this league feels like it'll be, do you keep mowing each other down, you know?
Right. So that's the interesting
problem.
part, is the Big 12 got hurt last year because they were very balanced, where you're actually better off as a league if you're super top heavy. You want, pardon my language here, earmuffs, pids. You want your shit teams to be shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the Big Ten loves Northwestern right now, is they're horrible. And you can just beat up on them, but nobody kills them. Nobody cares that Northwestern lost by 40 to Tulane. The Big Ten doesn't penalize by that because
we're not getting crushing them for that.
Right, because they have Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, so it's all okay. What the Big 12 needs to change perception, and it's great entertainment to have a fun league that's balanced, but you need 3 or 4 just 11-1 teams and then win a playoff game to really shift things, in my opinion. And that's where I think this league this year, those 3, in my opinion, could do that based on how the schedule sets up for each of them. Go look at Texas Tech's schedule, by the way, and it looks way different than it did when we started the season. There is a world where they can do some damage, and I think I think the Red Raiders are on playoff watch. Now it's early; they've played 2 nobodies.
I think they're really good.
But that's what I'm saying. Them, Iowa State, and Utah, they only have the 1 game in between them. And they all could go 8-1 or so and really do some damage. Okay, let's look at this. Like, look at Tech. This is completely different than what we thought of. So they play Oregon State, who's average this weekend. They go to Utah. That's a big game. That game on the 20th is potentially a qualifier for the Big 12 championship game. I firmly believe that.
That's bye week for the Clones, right?
Yes.
Great.
Yes. Then they go to Houston. Houston's better, still not at Tech's level. They get Kansas at home. They go to Arizona State, obviously a tough game, but then they get Oklahoma State at home, blowout city, at a K-State team that is struggling immensely. BYU and UCF at home, then at West Virginia. Can you find 2 losses on that? I mean, I know it's early.
For Wednesday's show, I'll do my power ratings and I'll tell you who's
where
in
they
best
would
shape.
be, and that's where I think it'd be interesting to let's look at Iowa State, Utah, Texas Tech in regards to how many games will each be favored the rest of the way. Because I'm here on the 7th of September. I'm saying those 3. There's a world where each is 8-1 in the Big 12, and then you might get 2 or 3 playoff teams in at that point.
We are presented, as always, by our friends at Mechdyne. Thanks to Wiffles for presenting our nightly Big 12 segment. Let's move on and guess the point spreads. We are presented by WebWise.
I'm already 1-0, right? Because I got the over-under right. We're counting it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Go to trywebwise.com. I'm just typing it in right now, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I see. And you're going to see a wonderful company, a couple of guys who are diehard Cyclone fans, and they're the WebWise solution. They build websites. It's that simple. They do it I like the fact that it's like small town type stuff. I've worked with these agencies and stuff, and you just feel like you're getting ripped off. I don't ever feel like that with these guys. All right, guess the point spreads. Brent Blum, how'd you do last week?
Right at 500.
Right at 5, because there's the guy who's just tracking all that.
Yeah, and he's my new favorite follow on Twitter X.
We have some Big 12 games. Friday night, Colorado at Houston.
Oh, how about Houston burying Rice? Good for them.
Dude, I'm telling you, the Fighting Fritzes, keep an eye on them.
Colorado at Houston. I'm saying Houston's a 4-point favorite.
That's a win, 3.5. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Is Kansas State, Arizona a non-league game?
That is a non-league game.
Okay, I thought so.
Now, great question. Do they have to file injury reports?
Oh.
I bet not.
Kansas State is at Arizona. This is a Friday night game. We'll kick late Friday night.
Good.
We didn't even talk about Kansas State losing to Army.
Well, we mentioned it, but that is talk about a disaster.
No, that's a bad loss.
That's
like
a bad
for the
loss.
league.
That's
like
horrible.
that makes
that
you
was
look
a bad
bad.
loss. Yep, I agree. Boy, pick 'em.
It's a win. God, this is crazy. Like, the odds are, you can get Kansas State as a favorite in some shops, and you can get Arizona as a favorite in some shops. Like, Bet Rivers has Arizona as a 1-point favorite. DraftKings has Kansas State as a 1.5-point favorite. So it's basically a pick 'em. So you win.
All right.
Well done, sir. Okie dokie. Samford at Baylor. We don't have a line there yet. You don't need to pick that one.
Thank you.
Northwestern State is at Cincinnati. We don't have a line there. We'll make you pick that one.
That's going to be ugly.
Oregon State at Texas Tech.
Oh, man. This is tricky. Did Oregon State end up winning yesterday?
I don't know.
They're not. No, they didn't. They lost again. Oh, my gosh. Is that in Lubbock?
That's right.
24.
24.5. That's a win. He's on fire.
Laser
Pittsburgh
beams.
at West Virginia. Backyard brawl.
Oh, jeez. This game used to mean something. Now it's just kind of like going to the free stage at the state fair. It's in Pittsburgh?
I believe it's in Morgantown.
Oh, it's in Morgantown. Pittsburgh 4.
Yeah, it is in Morgantown. Pittsburgh 4.5. Blum has not lost a game.
This is like Joe DiMaggio streak stuff going right now.
This is one of the better weeks you've ever had.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy.
Here on Guess the Point Spreads. The Fighting Golishes, South Florida at Miami.
Technically not a Big 12 game, but we're going to count it anyway. We're right. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to
counting
pick Tulane and South Florida games.
Okay.
It's just
Miami.
I'm sorry, I don't make up the rules, but I make up the
those
rules.
are the rules. Miami 6.
Way off. 16.5.
What am I missing there?
The power ratings still haven't caught up to a South. Is there a team in the country with 2 wins better than Boise and on the road at Florida? Like
Maybe
South
Iowa
Florida
State.
has? I mean,
honestly, Iowa State would be. But
I don't know if Kansas State didn't shit the bed against Army and
good point. No, I can't.
What about South Dakota? They lost.
They lost a little more.
God. Little help, guys.
Come on, help us
Little
out.
help.
Strength of schedule, please. Iowa.
Iowa better not go out and lay
Don't
an egg
lose to
against
UMass.
Jeez. Okay, we'll keep on trucking. I'm looking, people. I'm looking. South Carolina is a 5.5-point favorite against Vanderbilt. I know you don't. Oh, okay. Tulane hosting Duke. Great game.
After they just bought the Tulane quarterback, I didn't realize that. Oh man, Tulane's gonna be.
You don't just waltz into Tulane Stadium.
Not after they poach your quarterback. I'm saying Tulane is a 5-point favorite there.
2.5. Missed that one. Well, here's an odd one. Utah is going to Wyoming.
Ooh, so Iowa State's not the only one going to Group of 5. I don't know anything about Wyoming.
Yeah, and that is a game in Laramie. I just double checked.
I don't know anything about Wyoming. What's the record?
They just played Northern Iowa this week. I don't know.
What was the score?
I don't know.
Well, can I?
Well, I'll find it. Give me a second.
No, I'll find it too. I need that context. Okay, they won 31-7. That helps me. I'm saying Utah 17.5.
That is a miss. 22.
Okay.
Texas State at Arizona State. This feels like a bet the house on Arizona State.
Man, Sam Levitt looked really ordinary yesterday.
Yeah, it's amazing what not having Cam Scatterboot can do to you.
I mean, he was missing some easy ones. They host Texas State.
Yes.
27.
14.5.
Oh my gosh.
So, don't you agree? Pound Arizona State there.
What am I missing? I know Texas State's okay, but
that just feels like you just hammer Texas.
That is a
you just hammer Arizona State.
That is a name your score game for Arizona State. If you're any good, at least.
That's it. That's all of our Big 12 games.
Not bad.
You had a good day.
Proof that I don't cheat, because I would have swept the table if I could have.
In your defense too, it's really hard to do this time of year because like Vegas is still figuring out who these teams are. Like South Florida is completely undervalued.
I mean, like you watch them. And again, it's I call it the dude test. So they have dudes. South Florida has dudes
and an experienced quarterback.
Do you know who their running back is?
Cartavius Norton.
Former
Cyclone.
Former Cyclone. Yeah.
It's a blast from the past.
He was a nice young man. And then Eli Sanders is tearing it up at USC, by the way.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Like Southern California?
Yeah.
Really?
They paid him a bunch this offseason.
Good for him.
And then obviously that's the crazy thing about the portal is those guys left. If you remember that, this story. And again, both good kids, but they got beat out by Abu and Carson Hansen, and so they both were going to go in the portal before, after the 2023 season. And Matt found out about it before the K-State game, and he basically said, "You in or you're out." They said, "Well, we're going to go in the portal." He's like, "You're not coming with the team then," and.
That was the Abu 4-touchdown game.
Yeah, and then that's when Abu went for 270, and the rest is history. But I don't fault those guys. Nice young people, always friendly to me. So glad to have them see them have some success elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody in that scenario. I don't blame Matt for doing what he did. I also don't blame those guys for. Everybody's looking ahead and looking like coaches do that.
Yeah.
You know, Matt doesn't. I can honestly say Matt does not talk to people until the season's over, but it's just kind of unfortunately for those young men, like that's just the world, and people are already recruiting you, and like it.
Yeah. So Eli's got 2 touchdowns and 100 yards rushing for USC so far this year.
Good. I like the transfer thing. I'd love for somebody out there, maybe Jackson Pence. This could be a good project for him. To find where all the Iowa State transfers that are playing have ended up, because it'd be fun to watch them. Like it's kind of like why I like the NFL now, because it used to just be I just rooted for the Vikings. Well, now like I'm really just obsessed with the Iowa State guys.
Yeah,
still want the Vikings to win, but it's like when did the Texans?
Where they go? They got like Tyler Onyedim is not playing a lot at A&M. He's played a little bit down there. I'm just trying to think where some of those guys.
Yeah, I haven't thought about him.
Yeah, so. Jackson, good call for that. Wait for the bye week. We're clones these days.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you, Bloom. This was a fun weekend.
Great to see everybody again. Another awesome Iowa State experience. And
thanks to everybody for coming and saying hi in the tailgate lots. We appreciate you all.
It was a great weekend. Great time to wrap up. As my friend Eric Heff says, it's always a great day to be a Cyclone, but some days are better than others, and let's keep it going, everybody.
Guys, please subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. We would appreciate that. We are growing that page, and Jake Voss, he's a listener. Jake Brind is doing a great job of continuing to grow that and do really interesting content. So we give him a shout out today. We'll be back on Wednesday. We do have the Inside Zone show with Jairell Brock and Jacqueline Cordova and Rimsberg and Newell. That will be on Tuesday this week, a day later. It's an FYI on that. Everything else will be your normal schedule here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.